The dog's bell. John's dog was a bad dog. Everyone in the village agreed about that. His name was Bruno, and he had very sharp teeth and very fast legs. Whenever someone walked past John's house, Bruno ran to the gate, barked loudly, and sometimes even tried to bite their trousers, their shoes, or, if he was feeling especially naughty, their bottoms. John loved Bruno, but he had a big problem. "Bruno, you can't bite people," John said every day. "That's not how a good dog behaves." John worried all the time. He worried when the mailman came. He worried when children walked by on their way to school. He worried when his friends visited and stood very, very close to the gate, as if the ground around Bruno's house was lava. Soon, the news about Bruno spread through the whole village. "Don't go too near John's house," whispered people. "That dog might bite you." Children crossed the street when they were anywhere near. The ice cream seller walked faster. Even the cat from next door walked past with its tail as high as possible, just in case. John tried everything he could think of. He tried to instruct Bruno to behave. "Sit, Bruno. Calm. Be nice. Gentle," he said in his kindest voice. Bruno sat for 2 seconds, wagged his tail, and then leapt at a man's shoelaces. John tried to be patient and teach Bruno to be calm. He bought books about training dogs. He watched videos. He gave Bruno treats whenever Bruno didn't bite anyone for 5 minutes. He even tried doggy yoga, gently stretching Bruno's legs and telling him to breathe in, breathe out. None of it worked. Bruno thought the breathing exercise was a fun new game and tried to chew John's sleeve. John did not want to punish Bruno. "I don't want to hit him or scare him," John sighed. "But how will I stop my dog's bad habit?" One afternoon, John's friend Peter came to visit. Peter was known in the village as the bravest man because he once removed a spider from the bakery using only a paper cup and a serious face. "John," Peter said, sitting at the kitchen table, "we need to talk about Bruno." "Is this an important meeting?" John asked. "Yes, very important," Peter said. "The people in the village asked me to represent them. We all want Bruno to stop biting. Nobody wants to be afraid to walk past your house." I know," John said sadly, "but nothing works." Peter thought for a moment, then his eyes lit up. "I have an idea. Why don't you put a bell around Bruno's neck? A nice loud bell. That way, we'll hear Bruno coming down the street. We'll know where he is and can step out of his way." John thought this was a wonderful idea. "A bell, of course," he said. "Then Bruno can still go for walks, but people will be safe." The next day, John went to the market and bought the shiniest bell he could find. It was small, silver, and made a bright, cheerful sound. Ting-a-ling-a-ling! He tied the bell to a red ribbon and carefully put it around Bruno's neck. Bruno shook his head. The bell rang. Ting-a-ling-a-ling! Bruno wagged his tail. What's that lovely noise? He seemed to think. He trotted around the yard, listening to his new bell sing. He lifted his paws higher, almost like he was dancing. From that day on, whenever Bruno walked down the street, everyone heard him coming. Ting-a-ling-a-ling! Ting-a-ling-a-ling! The villagers quickly learned the meaning of that sound. The bell is coming, children shouted. I mean, Bruno is coming. People stepped aside, moved into doorways, or crossed the street. The mailman hid behind a tree. The ice cream seller pushed his cart to the other side of the road. No one was bitten anymore, and everyone felt safer. John was happy. See, Bruno, he said. Now you can go for walks, but nobody gets hurt. Bruno was happy too, but for a different reason. He noticed that whenever his bell rang, people turned their heads and looked at him. They must really like me, he thought proudly. They hear my bell and immediately pay attention. I must be the most popular dog in the whole village. He practiced a special walk. Head high, tail in the air, paws placed very carefully on the ground. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling. He even tried a slow, dramatic walk for extra style. One sunny morning, Bruno strolled through the village and met a group of other dogs. They were lying under a tree, enjoying the shade. Bruno walked up to them with his fanciest walk. Ting-a-ling-a-ling! The other dogs looked at him. Then they looked at the bell. Then they started to laugh. What is that thing around your neck? One of the brown dogs asked. It's my bell, Bruno said proudly. People love it. When they hear it, they all look at me. I'm very popular, you know. The dogs laughed even harder. Popular? Said a small black dog. They are not looking because they like you. They're looking because they want to avoid you. That's not true, Bruno said, his ears going down just a little. They look at me because I'm special. Listen to my beautiful bell. It sings when I walk. Another dog, an old wise one with gray fur, shook his head. Bruno, he said quietly, do you know who wears bells in our village? Cows in the field, sheep who wander away, and now, dogs who bite. Bruno blinked. What do you mean? The bell is a warning, the old dog explained. It tells people where you are so they can get away from you. They're not watching you because they admire you. They're watching you so you don't get close enough to bite you. Bruno's tail stopped wagging. He remembered how the mailman hid behind the tree. He remembered how children ran to the other side of the road. He remembered how nobody tried to pet him anymore. So, they're afraid of me? Bruno asked softly. Yes, said the old dog. You're famous, but for the wrong reason. Being popular isn't something positive when it's because people are scared of you. For the first time, Bruno felt a little bit ashamed. He loved attention, but he didn't want everyone to be frightened. He sat quietly under the tree and listened to his bell ring gently in the wind. Ting, ling. That afternoon, when Bruno walked home, he tried something new. He walked slowly, he kept his teeth inside his mouth, and when a little girl dropped her ball, Bruno picked it up gently and put it back at her feet instead of chasing her shoelaces. The girl froze. The bell rang softly. Ting-a-ling! Bruno waited. He did not bark. He did not bite. He simply wagged his tail. "Good dog," the girl whispered, and gave him a tiny pat on the head before running back to her friends. Bruno's heart felt very warm. That felt better than biting, he thought. Maybe I want people